What's up, football fans? We've got a packed show today with tons of updates coming in hot around the NFL draft. There's buzz, there's speculation, and yes, there's some big decisions looming, especially when it comes to one team that's making some serious waves. So, let's get straight into it, starting with a storyline that's been gaining traction. The possibility of a quarterback from Colorado landing with Pittsburgh if he's still on the board at pick number 21. Now, here's the thing. A trusted report just dropped saying the head coach has a real thing for this quarterback. Word is they had a marathon 5-hour meeting when he visited Pittsburgh last week. That's not your average handshake and photo op. That's serious evaluation time. And when a team spends that much time with a prospect, especially a quarterback, it means they're digging deep, looking at character, football IQ, leadership, the whole package. The source behind this says it's a legitimate possibility. If this guy is there when the 21st pick comes up, he could be donning the black and gold. But we got to hit the brakes just a bit. Because if you've been following this team closely, you know they've pulled this kind of move before. In 2022, remember how everyone thought they were head over heels for another quarterback? There were leaks, hype, inside info, the whole media circus. And who did they end up picking? Someone entirely different. That's the game they play. This team has a history of playing the media like a violin, leaking misinformation to throw off other teams and keep the real target under wraps. They've done it before, and they might be doing it again. Just last offseason, they went on about how much confidence they had in their young quarterback, saying he was the long-term guy. But then, their actions spoke a different language. They pursued other options, made underwhelming offers, and stirred up more rumors. It's clear there's a pattern here. They're not just evaluating talent. They're controlling the narrative. And let's talk about this Colorado quarterback. He's got swagger. He's confident. He walks into a room like he owns it. And that kind of presence matters in the NFL, especially at quarterback. He doesn't throw a lot of picks, which teams absolutely love. And here's the kicker. He's got NFL bloodlines. When your dad is one of the greatest to ever do it, that pedigree carries weight. You know how much franchises love that legacy factor. But despite all that, let me be honest, I wouldn't use a first-round pick on him. When I watched the tape from his last season, it didn't blow me away. The offense as a whole struggled, and he didn't look like the kind of guy who elevates everyone around him. His arm strength is okay, not elite. He's not particularly mobile, and he doesn't have that game-breaking, off-script creativity that today's top quarterbacks bring to the table. His footwork needs work. His processing speed isn't where it needs to be, and he has to learn to anticipate throws better, especially since he doesn't have a cannon for an arm. So yeah, I think he fits more like a second-round prospect than a guy you take in the first. If they do end up drafting him at 21, I'll be scratching my head. That said, I'd love to know what you all think. If the Steelers go with him, what grade would you give the pick? A B, C, D, or a flat-out F? While we're talking about quarterbacks, we've also got to mention Tyler Shuck from Louisville. This guy is suddenly on everyone's radar. 3 weeks ago, barely anyone was talking about him in the first-round conversation. Now, he's one of the hottest names out there. Coaches, scouts, insiders, they're all starting to see the upside. One coach even called him the best quarterback in the class, and others are backing that up with strong comparisons to the top arms available this year. And you know what? I get it. He's got a beautiful deep ball, maybe the best in the draft. His arm talent is legit. Only one or two guys might be on his level in that department. He protects the football, doesn't throw many picks, and avoids taking dumb sacks. He's a guy who knows how to manage a game and still take shots when needed. That's a skill not every young quarterback has. Now, I know there are clips floating around online showing him making some weird throws, including one that went way off target. And yeah, those went viral for all the wrong reasons. But if you actually watch his full game film, you see a different story. Sure, he's not perfect. No one is. But there's a reason people inside the league are calling him the most pure passer in this class. His name might not have been on everyone's big board a month ago, but right now, he's trending way up. Some say he could even go late in the first or early in the second, depending on how the draft shakes out. And here's the thing. If a team trades down from the 20s and grabs him, while also picking up an extra day to selection, that could be a steal. That's how you build for the future without reaching. Meanwhile, the Steelers just wrapped up their top 30 prospect visits. And one of the final names on the list was a running back out of Ohio State who's starting to generate legit first-round buzz. Some insiders believe Pittsburgh might actually take him at 21, though that would definitely go against their usual draft approach. They typically don't value running backs that high unless the talent is undeniable. But here's the catch. This particular player checks all the boxes of what teams look for in a first-round back. He had the holy trinity: a formal interview at the Combine, a pro day visit with top staff attending, and now a top 30 invite. Only 9 players this year hit that trifecta, which means the interest is real. Still, my gut says they'd rather trade down if they're going to pick a running back. And if they do, it makes sense. This player has lightning acceleration, track star speed, and he didn't fumble the ball once last year. Coaches love that. He's a great pass protector and a solid receiver, which makes him a natural fit as a high-end third down back. But there are concerns. His vision isn't great, especially on outside zone runs, which is a big deal in today's NFL. He also hasn't handled a full workload like some of his peers. Another back from Ohio State actually carried the bulk of the load last year, which says something. So yeah, he's got traits, but the question is whether he could be a true number 1 in the league. If it were up to me, I wouldn't spend a first-rounder on him. Not yet. There's more to get into, from other prospects who visited Pittsburgh to edge rushers, receivers, and corners, but we'll get to that in just a bit. For now, let me know what you think about these key names. Are the Steelers really eyeing Shatter Sanders at 21? Will Tyler Shuck sneak into the end of the first round? Or could Trayvon Henderson be the surprise pick no one sees coming? As we keep looking deeper into what the Steelers might be planning for this year's draft, there's one thing that's crystal clear: they've done their homework. The final list of 30 official visits includes some intriguing names from all over the board. There are high-upside wide receivers, defensive backs, defensive linemen, and yes, more running backs. The amount of attention given to running backs this offseason is honestly pretty revealing. 9 of the 30 visits were spent on that position alone. That's almost a third of the entire list, which tells you something about where their priorities might be shifting. Right now, Jaylen Warren holds the title of RB1 for the Steelers, but the search for his perfect complement is in full swing. The coaching staff knows that the modern NFL demands depth and versatility in the backfield. One injury, and suddenly your offense can fall apart if there's no solid backup plan. And while Kenneth Gainwell might be seen as a dependable third option, someone who could step up if needed and handle scat back duties, they're clearly looking for more firepower. They want to build one of the most dangerous 1-2 punches in the league. Looking at the kind of running backs they've brought in, you can spot a trend. Speed, burst, receiving skills, protection ability. That tells us they're not looking for just a bruiser. They want a guy who can do it all, especially on third downs, someone who doesn't become a liability when the defense knows a pass is coming. And yet, despite all this attention on running backs, it's still possible they hold off until day 2 or day 3 of the draft, maybe finding a hidden gem who fits their system without spending that valuable first-round pick. Now, shifting focus a bit, there's been a lot of buzz about the Steelers potentially trading down from the 21st spot. And when you look at how their evaluations line up, that possibility becomes more and more likely. They've shown interest in guys like Jalen Null, a wide receiver from Iowa State, and Trey Amos, a corner from Mississippi. Now, neither of those guys are expected to go as early as the first round. But here's the thing, they might not last until pick 83 either, which is where the Steelers' next pick after the first comes in. So if they can move back, pick up an extra second rounder, and still get one of their top targets while adding depth somewhere else, that's a win. This team knows how to move around the draft board when they need to, and all signs point to them exploring those kinds of options again this year, especially if their top quarterback targets are off the board when they're on the clock, or if none of the wideouts or edge rushers really stand out at pick 21. And speaking of edge rushers, don't expect them to go all in on that position early, at least not based on what we've seen so far. The only edge player who looks like a potential first-round fit is Derek Harmon out of Oregon. He's a real deal, no question. But the Steelers haven't shown as much interest in the other top names like Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant from Michigan. That might be a sign they're happy to wait on that position until the middle rounds and focus on a more immediate need. Now back to quarterbacks for a moment, because that storyline is far from settled. As of now, there's no clear frontrunner for who the Steelers might take if they do decide to go quarterback in the first round. They've met with a lot of names. Shader Sanders, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck. They also had formal meetings with guys like Jackson Dart and scheduled visits for Jalen Milroe and Will Howard. It's been a wide net, and it shows that they're keeping all their options open. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The idea of Josh Allen joining the Pittsburgh Steelers is sparking waves of excitement and curiosity throughout the NFL community. What would it mean for the Steelers, who are no strangers to powerhouse quarterbacks, to have one of the league's brightest stars under center? The rumor, while speculative, opens up endless possibilities. Would Allen, coming off an MVP-winning season with the Buffalo Bills, be the missing piece Pittsburgh has longed for? The thought of him leading the Steelers to another Super Bowl run seems like a dream to many fans. But is it a real possibility? Josh Allen's impressive rise with the Buffalo Bills speaks for itself. Drafted in 2018 as the 7th overall pick, Allen has since shattered records and delivered an unforgettable 2024 season where he was crowned NFL MVP. His combination of arm strength, mobility, and leadership on the field is unparalleled. Under his command, the Bills have made it to the playoffs 6 times, clinching 5 straight division titles. Allen is a dual threat, excelling both in the air and on the ground, making him a dynamic force that could breathe new life into any team, including the Steelers. The question now is, could the Steelers, currently rebuilding their offense, make a bold move for Allen? It wouldn't be the first time Pittsburgh has considered a quarterback of Allen's caliber, especially given their storied history of legendary quarterbacks like Ben Roethlisberger. However, with Allen's massive new 6-year, $330 million contract extension in 2025, which includes a record-breaking $250 million in guaranteed money, the financials would need to align for such a high-profile acquisition. The Bills would certainly be reluctant to part with their star, but in the unpredictable world of the NFL, no player is truly untouchable. Pittsburgh's current quarterback situation is in flux. While there's promise in young quarterbacks, there's no denying the need for an elite leader. Allen's ability to handle pressure, perform in clutch moments, and lead a team to the brink of greatness makes him an attractive option for a franchise like the Steelers. The Steelers need a quarterback who can elevate the team's offensive performance, and Allen could do just that. His potential to thrive under the Pittsburgh spotlight, with its rich football tradition, is an exciting thought for any fan. In conclusion, while the rumor of Josh Allen joining the Pittsburgh Steelers may be far-fetched, it has ignited discussions about what the future holds for the Steelers and their quarterback position. Whether or not this potential move materializes, the mere idea of it should excite Pittsburgh fans. A quarterback like Josh Allen could very well be the one to lead the Steelers back to Super Bowl contention. And who knows? The next big chapter in Steelers history might just be waiting for that phone call. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.